And we're live with another Father-Son podcast with Jeff Dens and Forrest Dens. How are you doing today, man?
Good, how are you?
I am doing most excelente today. How was your snow month?
My snow month?
Yeah, off almost all of January. Jeez.
Not really.
Not really. 1 week, but you still had off a really long time. How's that been?
This isn't even an entire week. In total, I think I've had... Yeah, I've had a total of 1 school week in the entire month. So that includes MLK Day and New Year's Day.
Yeah. And would you get 3 or 4 snow days now this year?
3 snow, 4.
4, right?
Yeah,
Because you had
4.
off.
Because I have off tomorrow. And
You
I
have
had off
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 4 days.
I didn't have off Tuesday.
You didn't have off Wednesday, so that's...
No, I didn't have off Tuesday.
Tuesday, I mean. So that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's 3 days off.
I'm pretty sure I had a snow day before this, too.
Yeah. That's pretty nice. What have you been doing with your time?
Nothing much.
Is you're sitting here in your pajama pants and no shirt on?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not doing too much at all.
No.
Why don't you put your headphones on so you can hear that you're not talking into the mic? All right, so I wanted to do 2 things with you today. I wanted to talk about the weather. And, obviously Mom's on a trip again, so we're doing a Father-Son podcast.
The weather is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Stupid.
Man. Yeah, it's really bad. So I made a bunch of cutting edges today. And Mr. Lenny was really mad that I wasn't there yesterday, and he's mad that no one was there today. So.
Well, who can come yesterday?
I don't. Well, a lot of people.
Who could have came?
People made it in. I didn't make it in, but I did ask them to send someone to come pick me up because I needed a bunch of stuff that had to go out today. So we were super busy all day today, but I got it done.
That sucks.
Yeah, our street was so bad, no one came and plowed it. It was terrible. The gym has been closed for days. So tomorrow I'm going to do a kids class, no-gi kids class, pretty much regular time. Maybe I'll bump it back 15 minutes so I can make sure I'm there on time. And we'll do 2 no-gi kids classes, and then open mat and teens night. So
yeah,
good day. Yeah, and then Saturday's the fight. So I'm not sure what time Mom's coming back. So we might spend most of the day alone Saturday, and then Sunday we'll be hanging out.
Yep.
All right. So the other thing I wanted to get into with you is we watched Ghostbusters last night. What'd you think?
I liked it.
You liked it?
It was a good movie.
Yeah. Watching Ghostbusters, came up with a huge conspiracy theory last night.
Go ahead.
What was that huge sigh about?
Just go ahead.
I think that Peter Venkman was the villain of the movie, and I think that Walter Peck was the hero. I've been watching these game theories. You put me down that rabbit hole. So if anyone's listening.
I didn't put you down a rabbit hole at all. I sent you like 1 or 2.
Yeah, and I watched like hundreds of these stupid things between the film theory ones and the game theory ones. It's this guy, he just goes in and he takes like theories from the game, and he breaks down like certain theories about movies and the game.
You know it takes him 6 days because it's kind of annoying when you get one
Yeah.
and you want another one, but you've watched so many that there aren't any new ones.
Yeah, and it takes him a long time to make, and then he talks. There's a lot of math involved in it, so it's actually pretty
And
educational.
most of them.
Yeah, talks about physics a lot, and you figure out how to measure stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got my mind conspiracy thinking. Also, this movie was very 1980s, right? You could definitely tell the difference between that movie and movies today, right? What do you think that movie would be rated today?
PG, maybe R.
PG-13, maybe R,
PG-13 or
at
maybe
least, right?
R.
Yeah. It was rated PG for anyone watching. So I watched it with Forrest, and there is a sexual scene. There is some cursing. It's definitely not a PG movie by today's rankings.
That's true, serious. No.
True story, right?
Yeah, the court scene. The court scene was the one.
Oh, yeah, where he swore. There was some more swearing. But let's get into Peter Venkman for a minute. So I did a little research.
You wrote down the whole... oh, my God.
I wrote down my theory because I'm crazy.
Oh, my God.
I'm crazy. I got this problem with conspiracy theories.
I thought this was just going to be like a quick, easy one where you were going to kind of no basis. Then you wrote 2 paragraphs. I thought you were just going to go, tell everybody about your theory, tell people why you think, and I did not think you were going to go research this.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break it down. So Peter Venkman, what are you doing? Sit down. What are you trying to take a peek at my notes?
Yeah, I wanted to see what you wrote.
I'm going to tell you what I wrote. I'm reading it out right now. So Peter Venkman, he has 2 PhDs. One's in parapsychology, which I'm not even sure what it is, and one in psychology. So I think that Peter Venkman and the Ghostbusters, Peter Venkman's the leader of the Ghostbusters, and they're really drugging everybody in the town to see ghosts. And then they charge exorbitant amounts of money to make them go away.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Are the other Ghostbusters in on this?
I'm going to get into that. I have all this all written down, but I'm just outlining my theory. And I think that Walter Peck was right on the money with everything that he said, and that the Ghostbusters are a danger to the community. All right. So, Peter Venkman, he was fired from Columbia University for failed studies. So, he's not a very good scientist in the first place. His paranormal studies were not going good. He was just using them to pick up girls, if you remember the electronic shock scene from the beginning.
That wasn't a paranormal study, though.
It was. They were using to see if she could mind read or tell what was on the card. So it was a parapsychology.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. It was about.
No, it wasn't.
Telepathy. Yeah. Well, what do you think they were doing?
He was talking about he was talking about the effects of her always getting the card right because he knew that card wasn't working.
No. He was telling her that she was getting it right.
They talked about that. That wasn't.
He was like the adverse effects of what happens when you have a negative effect for failed paranormal reading or whatever. It's like
there's a negative feedback loop.
Yeah, negative feedback loop. If you get it wrong.
That has nothing to do with.
Because they're trying to guess what was on the card.
I know, but that has nothing to do with.
It is. Don't argue with me. Well, people listening will know what I'm talking about.
He said it so fast. How do you even know what he said?
Because I was listening for it because I've seen the movie a bunch of times. Trust me, I've seen the movie a bunch of times. So from there, he got his team fired. He duped Ray Stantz into financing the Ghostbusters by taking out 3 mortgages on his parents' old home. I think that Ray is a very gullible person, and he does whatever he needs to do to follow Peter because he doesn't have any other friends, really. And also, he has a deep belief in ghosts, as he talked about, like the sponge migration, right? And, Peter's like, they migrated 1 foot, Ray. Pretty much. So he's very gullible. He wants to believe in ghosts. And even later on, I think one of the things that helps me with my theory is that he has that nightmare, the sex scene. Remember where he had to hide your head? I think he's having nightmares about ghosts because he doesn't believe in a lie, and he's kind of a good person, but he's just going along with Pete. So it's having an adverse effect on him mentally. Egon. So let's get into Egon. Number 1, when they introduce Egon, they introduce themselves as Dr. Venkman and Dr. Stantz. They don't say Dr. Spangler. They just introduce him as Egon when they go to the library. So I think that Egon...
Did you see if Egon means anything? If it's a word that means something else?
No, I did not, actually. That's a good...
You probably should.
Yeah. So I went and I didn't look up Egon too much, but I looked online. It said that he's a PhD too, but nowhere in the movie did it say he was a PhD. So I'm only going off Ghostbusters 1. I'm not going off the cartoon or Ghostbusters 2.
Look up. Oh my god! You should look up the word Egon, because that could mean that, like, if you don't know what the word, if Egon is actually a word, then it could mean that it could mean somebody with a PhD.
No, Egon is his name. Egon Spangler is his name. That's his name. They call him Egon over and over again. That's his actual physical name. I don't think it's a word, but I'll look it up right now. So Egon, type it into Google. Egon, E-G-O-N. It comes up Egon Ghostbusters.
Put it in translate.
Egon is a variant of the male given name Eugene. So it's just his name, Egon. So Egon, I don't think he's really a doctor. I think he is a mentally disturbed person that they just let hang around with them.
How is he not a doctor if he figured out all the brain reading stuff?
Because it's all fake. I think it's all fake.
Then how would he be able to know how to build it in the first place?
Because it doesn't really work. It doesn't do anything.
So? That still means he's smart enough to hold a PhD.
No, it doesn't mean he's smart enough to get a PhD.
That give you a basis to just being something that goes without saying in the movie.
So listen without arguing to my theory before you try and pick it apart, okay? Just do me a favor.
Okay.
So Egon, he's this mentally handicapped guy. He's just hanging out at the university, and they let him hang out because he's a little crazy. There's always crazy people hanging out, You've been around me long enough to know there's crazy people that I talk to, right? That they're not normal people. They think they can do things they really can't. So his hobbies include collecting spores, mold, and fungi. He has no interest in women. He has no interest in men. I think he's just a mentally disturbed person, and they just have him along to do whatever, to be their scientist, but he's not really making anything because Peter's actually releasing drugs wherever they go to bust ghosts, so people hallucinate the ghosts. Because he does have access to medicine, which I'll get into later.
What about the desk person? Do you talk about that?
I talk about her a little bit too. And then Winston Zeddemore, a direct quote from him is, if there's a check behind it, I'll believe it. Anything you tell me to believe. So Winston's in it entirely for the money, even though it's only $11,500 a year, which at the time is probably okay, but it's still not that great of a job. So he's just in it to collect a check. And if they're really fighting ghosts, I don't think the guy is going to be willing to lose his life for $11,500 from the vibe that we get from him.
Hey, I got another rebuttal in my head.
Go ahead. What is it?
I'll talk about it later because you could also mention it in your theory.
Oh, okay.
In another 6,000 paragraphs. Is it 2 pages?
No, it's 1 full page. So Egon's not a doctor. I think he's just a crazy guy that they just let design the equipment because it doesn't really need to work.
I have 2 ideas now.
Okay, you keep on to your ideas. All right. So I think Peter's just a womanizer. He's using it to make money and womanize. Even the very first client that they ever get, he tries to sleep with. He actually even drugs her up. He gives her a Thorazine after he claims that she was, air quotes, floating in the air. He had to drug her up. Sure. He insults and demeans the secretary, Janine. He even called her bug eyes, right? He's like, Janine, stop looking at me with those bug eyes. And then he threatened to fire her when she asked for more help for a reasonable request. All because he's laundering money through the Ghostbusters and doesn't want anyone to know about it. Look, they go to the diner. No one except for the Ghostbusters actually sees the ghost, right? They lock the dining hall. They destroy it.
The guy sees it.
Which guy?
How would the employee see it then?
They just saw. They couldn't describe what it was when the Ghostbusters got there.
Yeah, but then how would they have known that something was messing?
It's all secondhand stories. Maybe they were there disturbing everything. But no, they never actually see Slimer flying around.
But then haven't they seen like stuff disappearing and nothing interacting with something?
They just say there's disturbances on the 12th floor. That could be anything. Could be just regular vandals.
How do you know that he doesn't see them though?
Because at no point in the film did he ever see them.
He went in the dining hall, didn't he?
No, remember the door? The door was locked. They couldn't open the door, and then the Ghostbusters kicked the door open with the trap, with the smoke coming out.
That's another good rebuttal, but okay.
Okay, so like they come out, and there's just a fake trap. They never see.
Keep going.
No one ever sees it. When Walter Peck, the hero of our story, comes in to try and shut down the Ghostbusters because he claims they are releasing these chemicals that are making people hallucinate, which I believe is a true story.
Wait. All right, I just had to keep my rebuttals in check.
Okay, so he walks in there. He asks to see see what they have going on, just basic stuff that he should be able to supply them. And he insults and antagonizes Mr. Peck, who is a federal agent.
All right, that's another. Wait, I think I have another rebuttal coming, but keep going.
Okay. So eventually he has them arrested. He shuts down the thing. And there's a light show. Because what actually happens is all of the drugs are, the hallucinogen is kept in that containment unit that they shut off. And that's why the electrician's never seen it before, because it's actually a drug apparatus. So the containment unit goes down and it starts spreading out over the entire state. it gets airborne. So that's why they see Gozer and stuff later on.
So
Because
is that the end of your
already
theory?
up in the air. No, I'm not. I'm still going.
Oh.
So they antagonize Walter Peck. He comes back. He gets him shut down by following all legal means necessary. He gets the warrants. He doesn't do it illegally. He comes back, does what he's supposed to do. In the meeting with the mayor, Peter actually even dismisses his genitalia in front. Genitalia shames him in front of the mayor. He says that his dick is so small that you can't even see it. And it's true. This man is dickless. This is a direct quote from the movie.
That's not what he doesn't say. Man partless. He says this man has no man.
Oh yeah, right. You're right. He says this man has no man part, which is very genitalia demeaning. He convinces the mayor. Peter Venkman convinces the mayor
Hold on.
that it's an election year, and if he air quotes saves all the people, that it's an election year and there'll be all the voters. So the mayor actually knows that it's a fake, that the drugs are released in the air too, and he just goes along with Peter's plan because it's one giant conspiracy theory. Like he knows that the drugs are up in the hallucinogens are up in the air, and that people are going to see ghosts and stuff. So he's going to use it to get reelected. And there may be something weird going around with the Archbishop, that he kisses the Archbishop's hand. So I think there might be another side conspiracy theory going on with the mayor being bad touch, and that's what makes him corrupt. But that's about it.
Anything else?
No.
All right. First rebuttal is, how do the ghosts interact with things, and how
They don't. They actually don't.
Yeah, that. Second, why would
actually, the other person that seen a ghost, the librarian, she has history of mental illness in her family.
Venkman only says that because she says her uncle saw something.
Her uncle thought he was some patron saint.
But then
That's
there's
mental illness in the family.
That's one person though.
Yeah, the only other person that had interaction with a ghost.
Trait? Could that be an acquired trait though? Could that just be his mind deteriorating? Is
Whose
that
mind
really
deteriorating?
genetic? Her uncle.
I don't know.
Because she's old, so her uncle.
Mental illness tends to be hereditary.
But then how come there's no other proof? Why?
She saw a ghost that's not there, dude. That's pretty much proof. She's crazy too.
Well, okay. So if the uncle is the only other person who saw a ghost, and it's
maybe
her,
they have a small family. Maybe that's 50% of the, or 25% of the siblings.
Wouldn't the uncles, if it was hereditary, wouldn't the uncle's parents have something wrong with them?
Maybe they did. Maybe she doesn't know.
So then
maybe she's covering up too.
That'd be her grandparents. That doesn't make any sense. That just makes the entire thing fall apart, because it can't be.
No, you're making my mic fall apart.
It can't be hereditary if there's only one proof in the entire family that she knows of. Of course, there could be something else going on, but
maybe it's dominant from that side of the family.
Yeah, but then there would still
maybe she doesn't know that side of the family.
There'd still be other stuff going on. And
yeah, she's crazy. She's seeing ghosts, dude. She's crazy.
Her uncle could be telling her.
She's leaving boogers all over.
Her uncle or her uncle's brother, who would also be part of the same family, could definitely.
She's blowing her nose all over the card catalog. That's all I gotta say.
So that means she could be making up the thing about her uncle too. Like.
Yeah, you're making my point for me that she's crazy. Thank you. She's a very crazy lady.
But she could be if she's making up the thing about the uncle, then it wouldn't be then it wouldn't be anything.
No, she's just a crazy one. She's totally crazy. And she didn't really see a ghost. Or maybe they paid her to see a ghost.
Second of all, how come the ghost can interact with stuff? Like in the end, how come like the actual building is falling apart, and how is that interacting with people? Well,
here's the thing.
Second,
the Ghostbusters blew it up. They blew up the roof of the building, and all the other stuff is just fake.
But if
it's just them people, the hallucinogen, they were just seeing it.
Yeah, how would that hurt people then?
It didn't hurt people.
How?
Who got hurt? No one got hurt in the movie. The only people that got hurt were the...
Stay Puft destroyed cars.
Stay Puft's a hallucination.
Yeah, but then how come all the cars are broken?
Do you ever see
If it was
when Batman gets who's the guy that
how is that scientific proof?
Just listen. Who's the guy that makes Batman see things?
Scarecrow.
So when Scarecrow hits Batman with the Scarecrow juice,
Scarecrow juice?
I don't know what he hits him with.
Also, then the hallucinogen, for people to feel things.
Oh wait, I even got a better one. You listen to Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah.
You heard about him when they eat mushrooms and they see stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just like the mushroom stuff in here. They're just seeing stuff. The cars aren't really smashed. It's just part of their imagination.
But there was real damage at the end of when the Ghostbusters thing blew up.
Because they blew it up.
Then my second rebuttal: if Venkman's not drugged, because obviously why would he drug himself? That's just an inconvenience. So how come he had to run away from the building?
Because he was going to blow it up.
Then how does he? If he's actually blowing up the building, then it can't be hallucination.
No, when you're talking about the Ghostbusters building?
Yeah.
Because they shut down the power, so he wanted to get away from the hallucinogen before it affected him. That's why he's running away from the building. That's why he was the first one out, too.
Why would the hallucinogen be in there? Because
that's where they're storing it. Because there's no real ghosts.
That's where they're storing the ghosts.
Because there's no such thing as ghosts, dude. Do you believe in ghosts?
This is in a different parallel universe. You can't just...
Do you believe in ghosts?
You can't just apply Earth.
Stop. Do you believe in ghosts?
I don't believe in ghosts. But this,
so what are they storing in there?
Oh my god. You can't apply our Earths. All our... What? Then the Flash would be a hallucination. Like, you can't just...
Do you believe in superheroes?
No, but then... How? You're so stupid.
It's tough to argue with crazy, right? Forrest has his arms up like he's Jesus in the air. And he's just laughing. All right, let's do this like we would do conspiracy theories. Have I convinced you that Peter Venkman is a villain of the story?
Not in a million years.
Okay, not in a million years. What about you guys? Please leave a comment and let me know what you think. If you are entertained by this at all, please click the subscribe button.
This is so stupid.
Forrest is very frustrated.
What I was going to say...
Is the Flash not a real superhero?
You can't apply Earth's laws to Ghostbusters. Because... obviously, the whole world of DC isn't just all hallucinated. That'd be impossible. Plus, who would be doing it?
Can I ask you one thing?
What?
Were there any superheroes in Ghostbusters?
No, but still.
Okay.
Almost every single movie, and none of it could have taken place on Earth, because then it'd be a true story. So obviously it's in another universe, this is also another crazy theory, is the multiverse. So if the multiverse truly exists, then all of these things are happening in a different universe, which means that other laws could be applied to this Earth. And if you believe that aliens do exist, there could be extremely human-like aliens.
So Peter Venkman's an alien, and that's why he's drugging everybody. That's even a better theory than mine, dude. You are the best.
On another planet, ghosts could be real.
All right.
Very ghost-like beings. And then my third rebuttal was, how do the ghosts travel so far after Ghostbusters blows up? There's no way that that Peter Venkman, one person, could spread the hallucinogen over hundreds of miles.
He didn't. The guy that shut off the containment unit did. But
how?
Because it went up in the air, it went
exploded.
up
in the air, but there's no way.
It was an airborne pathogen.
There's no way that could have traveled hundreds of miles as fast as the ghosts were. Because the ghosts were traveling at hundreds of miles an hour. They could have easily...
It wasn't ghosts, though. It was just, like, pillars of light. And, you know, what helps me is that the bad effects from the movie, they couldn't render ghosts that easily, so they just made it look like light. So it even goes to help my theory.
But those things couldn't travel that far, because they'd be traveling... All
right, let's cut it off. Ugh. Let's cut it off right here, because we're getting crazy, way out of hand. You look like you're about to cry. I love you. This is just a silly Ghostbusters theory. It's not something to cry about. I still think I'm right. So if I'm wrong, please leave a comment, and we'll debate it, and we can do it even better.
That's just a theory.
That's just a theory, a caveman theory. That's how this show goes.
You're gonna get copyrights right now.
Come after me, bro. Make my podcast huge. Anyways, what did you think about the movie, though?
I liked it.
And it's crazy, though. Like, some of the stuff I said is kind of joking, but, like, that movie couldn't happen today.
No.
In today's society.
It could happen today. It just wouldn't be.
It'd be totally different.
Movie.
Because the Ghostbusters would be bad guys. Because right now the EPA is, like, popular, right?
Yeah, but you could still make that movie. That movie could still exist.
They're actually doing a remake of that movie.
Yeah, the EPA, because it's going to be an old school movie. Mm-hmm. You could always just make that movie today and make use
Peter Venkman would be in jail today.
Today?
Yeah, because he gave that girl drugs.
You could also be in, like, you could also do the Stranger Things thing when they go back to the 80s.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's the only way that movie couldn't happen today. Like, when you go back, I bet you if people went back and watched it, they would protest that movie. Feminists and Me Too, for sure. There's a lot of... Peter Venkman does a lot of things that are not okay in that movie today.
Yeah, but it's a movie.
It was a movie.
And it's not a true story.
No.
You can't attack that.
But people do.
Those people just get ignored because they're just a complete joke. Like, they would protest it, but nobody would, like, nothing would change because they would just be looked at it. That probably happens all the time. Like, I'm sure feminists don't go to those movies and bash them, but, like, people just completely destroy their logic online or just ignore them because they're insane.
You know, here's what happens with every fringe group, to be honest with you, is that, I know why the buzzing comes on. When you get too close to the mic with the headset on, that's what makes the buzzing in the headset. Anyways, what happens is there's always fringe people in every group, right? Mm-hmm. Most group have normal people. That's like, 70 to 95% of your group is normal people. Then you have people on both sides of the extreme for your group, right? Yeah. And what happens with the feminists is that there's always extreme people that want to go back and rechange time. But, the attitudes...
Rechange time?
Like,
you mean change time? Change the way that events happen?
Like, just change the way that events are perceived, I would guess.
Perceived?
Yeah, because...
They don't want that.
Now, here's what I mean by that. In the 80s, that would be... What we thought was funny, like you watch it as be funny, would be offensive today. Like he'd be an offensive male chauvinist today, which he kind of really is in most of his movies, actually, but that's just a character he plays. But I kind of lost my train of thought now. Anyways, about the movie, I thought there was a lot of 80s style nostalgia in there that I was really glad I could share with you. Like the Crunch Bar. You're like, that's a Crunch Bar? I don't even know what that is. And
then I realized what it was because it wasn't blue.
Yeah, like
they're blue now.
Everything's so
that's
different.
Not fair.
And that beer looks totally different now. And the Pepsi flag and the Coca-Cola. And what else was different? Oh, the card catalog. I introduced you to the card catalog. You had no idea what that thing was.
Still exist. There's a paper in my school library that has all the numbers on it and where to find all the books.
Yeah, so
not all the books, but all the genres.
In the old days, all the card catalogs had every book in the library in it, and you had to go through there to find out what section it was in. And
Why?
Because there wasn't computers.
Just do the section and do like. People aren't really that dumb. All you have to do is tell them what section contains which genre and which letters are in each row, and then people could find the books easily.
Yeah, but it was different.
Card cataloging is so stupid. That doesn't make any sense.
It does make sense for the time. We'll have to have some smart library. If anyone is a librarian that worked with a card catalog, Miss Cindy Kroll, please, I don't know, but she worked in a school library, I'm pretty sure. Please instruct Forrest on the ways of card catalog, because I don't know. I never actually used it. I was not a very good student. Based on
the ways library are set up now, card cataloging is a complete waste of time.
Now you don't need a library. Just go on Google, dude. Libraries are stupid. This computer is better than any library. This computer right here, this old beat up, dusty computer is better than a laptop.
Actually, books are better than the internet still. Because books...
Not for researching quickly.
But that's not... The internet contains a lot of repetitive information. Like, now we're getting into something completely different. But
yeah, let's
just real quick.
Okay.
The internet has a bunch of repetitive information, and when you look up something, there are a lot of sites that just say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So books are better because they cover a lot more subjects, and you learn more about a certain subject, which allows you to branch off into more Google searches, and you can find more stuff.
Do your Jesus pose.
No.
Come on, I wanted to get a picture of it for the podcast.
No.
With your, oh my God, Dad, really? What's going on?
You're cutting me off.
I know, that's why I want you to do the pose. Because it'd be a good picture.
No. Anyways, I said that really fast because that's not the topic today.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to take a picture of you picking your ear. Oh, I missed.
I wasn't picking my ear. I was playing, like...
I got one.
That's not my ear. See?
No, I know. The first time it looked like you were picking your ear, but my camera is too slow. So I got a picture for this podcast. I think we're done for today. Mm-hmm. You were a little bit tired because you keep arguing with me. I can tell you're a little bit sleepy or tired.
Hey, but I had good rebuttals.
They're okay, but you didn't listen to what I was saying. Like, they weren't always... They weren't...
That's because I had so many rebuttals.
They weren't typical force rebuttals. You were just...
What do you mean they weren't typical force rebuttals?
Because when you're tired and sleepy, you argue just like this. You get really frustrated and you're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? So I think we're going to call it tonight. It's already late. Yeah. We're going to go, we talked to Destiny for a bit, so we got a little bit late start. Had some nice steak and green beans.
I didn't eat the green beans because they're canned and they probably have no nutritional value.
They were canned and they were yummy. I ate a whole can of them all by myself with that big juicy steak. Although we got to have tacos tomorrow now.
They've been processed so many times.
What's that?
I don't know how you eat that.
The green beans?
Yeah.
They're just in a can with some water in it. Some chemicals.
Some chemicals, a lot of salt,
keep them fresh.
Water, and green beans that were probably processed 3 times already.
Not a lot of salt, to be honest with you.
Are you sure it's just... Are you sure it's not just because you cooked them?
No, I looked on the can. I mean, as long as the nutritional facts on the cans were correct, there wasn't as much salt as I thought would be in there.
So many people lie today.
That's a conspiracy theory for another time. But please, leave a comment.
A theory. I'm pretty sure it's a proven fact that nutrition facts can lie.
I'm trying to do a podcast here. Please leave a comment whether you think the Ghostbusters theory is true or not.
It's not true.
That's true.
It's not true.
It's not true. It's true. You almost convinced me, but you didn't.
It's
all right.
Not true.
We're out of here, man. I love you. It's awesome to spend time with you.
Also, how is 3 mortgages enough to spread that many drugs?
I don't know, but just the interest alone was $95,000. Just think about it. So the interest alone is $95,000 on that mortgage, right? That's just the interest. That's no principal. So if it's $95,000 and the guy's making $11,500 a year, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, that's a considerable amount of money that they took out.
But that would only buy you the drugs for how much it covers.
Maybe Peter Venkman's running drugs. Where did he get the Thorazine from? He doesn't work for a university. He's not an actual doctor.
The Thorazine?
The stuff that he put the alien
found that in her house, right?
No. He didn't find it in her house. He gave it to her. He administered it to her.
I have no idea anymore.
Yeah, because he's a drug runner.
This isn't really fair either, because you've watched Ghostbusters like 10,000 times.
I have watched it a lot of times, but watching it last night, all that stuff just popped in my head, dude. And I was talking about it at work all day today. I have like half of work convinced.
Don't have me convinced.
That's because you're a tougher cookie than most. All right, we're out of here for real this time. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. I love having this conversation with you. We talked a lot today, actually. We had a pretty good conversation down by the piano as well.
What did we talk about by the piano? I don't remember because I stepped in poop.
Oh, yeah. The Forrest stepped in poop today. It was pretty awesome to see the look on his face.
Instead of tripping me from behind, he pooped from behind.
He pooped right underneath your foot.
So I saw the poop. And
no one can hear you. You got talking to the mic.
So I stepped. So I saw one poop that was right by Dad's foot, and I'm on a chair, and I stepped back, and I stepped in poop.
You smushed it into the carpet too, dude. Like the whole time you were showering and washing your foot, it took like 30 minutes. It took me that long to clean the stupid rug. Ugh.
It's not my fault. fault?
It's not your fault. It's the dog's fault. I'm looking right at him. That's why I said, ugh. He's sitting underneath the table. He knows we're talking about him. Look at his face. He's looking right at you. He's like, I can't believe you threw me under the bus, dude. Mom's going to kill me now. Look at him. He knows. Look, he's mad at you. He's going to pee in your bed tonight. You better look out. Forrest pee in his bed.
That dog would have to be the smartest dog in the universe to understand what you just said.
He knows about Ghostbusters. Look at him. He blinked when I said Ghostbusters. He knows it's right. All right, we're out of here. Thank you, guys.
God.